Manchester United versus Chelsea this weekend, massive game, and Paul Pogba could be back for Manchester United. We'll be talking how Manchester United can beat Chelsea, Paul Pogba or not, and how massive this game is for Manchester United. So stay tuned, get involved, drop a like, and if you are new to the United Stand, make sure you subscribe and get involved with the biggest independent Manchester United fan channel on YouTube, all about your opinions. And thanks for everyone who's joining us live or not. Big shout out to the early squad. You know what you've done again. But let's start off with the Paul Pogba. I want to talk about Manchester United. I've got the yellow pen. We've got the tactics. I'm going to go through all that. We're going to start off about Paul Pogba. Jose Mourinho sort of gave a press conference blog today in relation to this game about how it's early because he's got a court case on Friday morning. And so he's done this early sort of blog. But he said, nobody's back from injury yet, but there's still Friday and Saturday before the game. And very, very cryptic that by Saturday he'll know what players are back. I don't think Fellaini's back. I don't think Fellaini's back at all. I don't even know if Fellaini's back in Manchester. Very cloak and dagger about that. He's certainly not in Turkey, by the way, as we were talking last night. That was his brother. But the last we heard of Fellaini was in Belgium. Obviously a knee injury. United seem to keep these injuries in-house now. No, I don't think Fellaini's back for the weekend. That would be very surprising because we haven't seen him training or anything. We have seen Pogba training. We've seen Pogba back at Carrington a week ago. Pogba training for a week. Could he come back for Manchester United in this game? If he did, it would be huge. If he did, it would be a risk. Would you play him? I'm not so sure whether I'd play him. I might put him on the bench, but very cryptic from Jose Mourinho. The other player is probably Michael Carrick. Michael Carrick was very, very close to playing in the game against Benfica on Tuesday night, and I expect Carrick probably will be back. But would Michael Carrick be the sort of player that's going to come back for the Chelsea game and everyone's going to go, wow, we've got Michael Carrick back? I don't think so. I really don't. I've got a funny feeling Pogba's going to be on the bench on Sunday. I don't think he can actually play, but I do think he will be on the bench on Sunday because I think Mourinho is the sort of manager who would just kill it dead. When asked about injuries, he would say, no chance, everybody's back off the international break. And to be honest with you, if this was a home game against Bournemouth, I think everybody would be left till after the international break. But Mourinho knows more than anybody else how big this game is against Chelsea at the weekend. Cannot wait for it. It's going to be bonfire night, 5th of November, 4:30 UK time, and it's going to go off like fireworks because it's huge. Last season, we went there with hope, and the game was over very quickly. Chris Smalling obviously made mistakes. We're talking about Gareth Southgate's ridiculously disrespectful comments about Smalling in a few minutes' time. But yeah, we went there last season, we got it wrong. And Chelsea fans showed themselves to be, well, not all of them, but a vast majority of them showed themselves to be spineless, absolutely disgraceful bunch of fans who booed and mocked their best ever manager in favour of a wig-wearing Italian who'd been there 5 minutes. Mourinho will be fully aware of that and he won't want to lose this game. The reality is, though, I think Manchester United can win this game. And the reason I think we can win this game is because I don't think Chelsea are that good at all. And I think Manchester United, as bad as we've been recently, apparently, although I thought we were brilliant against Spurs, we can go and win this game. Now, obviously, we're speaking like this a few weeks ago when we played Liverpool. And here you can see is how I would line up against Manchester United. Put Pogba on the bench, whatever. We'll throw Conte, says Darian Jones. Yeah, I mean, Pogba's the sort of player you probably want him to be back fit for this game. But in relation to Chelsea at the weekend, Mourinho won't want to get beat. I think we can beat them. A few weeks ago, we were saying Liverpool were going to beat them. I'm not going to be overconfident about it. My score prediction, I'll give it you now. My score prediction in this game is Manchester United 2, Chelsea 1. I do think we're going to win, but so much depends on this position here. Manchester United, if they play Mkhitaryan or Lingard, you take that number 10 off, you're down to 10 men. I mean, I like Lingard in that position. I don't mind. No, I like Lingard out here. Lingard in this position against people like Bakayoko and Kante and Rudiger and Luis and maybe Cahill, he's going to get bullied. He's too lightweight for that number 10. Mkhitaryan in this position, off the pitch. He's just rubbish at the moment, let's be honest. He's rubbish. You cannot afford to take him to Stamford Bridge and expect him to do something. There's one man who's Mr. Consistent under Mourinho. His name is Juan Mata. He knows Chelsea like the back of his hand. He knows the Premier League like the back of his hand. He should play in this game. So as you can see, how do Manchester United beat Chelsea? Tactically, we don't move away from the 5-3-2 that we played last week against Spurs. If it's good enough to beat Spurs, it's good enough to beat Chelsea. We do not want to be going, in my mind, back to the 4-2-3-1. It's ineffective and doesn't serve us that well away from home. Go 5-3-2, because if you look at the way Chelsea play it, they play a sort of 5 at the back which adapts. But the last few games, I mean, Azpilicueta may not play because he's been injured. He may not play Cahill. He might play Zabacosta. But let's just say that's the Chelsea back 5. Rudiger, Luis, Cahill, Alonso, Azpilicueta. Kante, if he's back, with Bakayoko, who will move off Mata there. Pedro, Hazard, Morata. Now their 5-3-2 differs to ours, because if you look at ours, so De Gea in goal, Bailly, Smalling, Jones as the 3, Young and Valencia as the width, Herrera and Matic as the midfield, Mata as the number 10, and Rashford and Lukaku. So we don't do the Pedro or Hazard thing with width. Ours is all strength down the middle. Whereas Chelsea, they've got that 2 in the middle there, but they've got Pedro and Hazard as the sort of width. So there's different, although it's much the same in relation to how they'll line up, hopefully, the way we sort of attack is very different to theirs. And it makes it very interesting, because if we keep Valencia and Young back, say, you've basically got 5 players against their 3 attackers, which knocks us all back because they'll start to dominate in all these areas. United have got to be brave in this game. What United need to do is Valencia and Young need to say, see you later. And Bailly and Jones need to, well, I will actually tell you a lie. I'll tell a lie. What we need to do is alternate this. This is, I'm not going to be fancy football and say we're just going to go gung-ho, because Mourinho never do that. What we don't want to do is get caught like that, with Young dealing with Pedro and Valencia dealing with Hazard and 3 centre-backs dealing with Morata. What we need to do, I would probably stick Valencia ahead and put Bailly on Hazard. And let Bailly follow Hazard all around the pitch. Let Jones and Smalling deal with Morata. Let Young deal with Pedro, and get Valencia right up on Alonso. And effectively, Manchester United then start to take hold of the game. Herrera and Matic, I'm not scared of Kante, Bakayoko, Fabregas, whoever they want to play. Lukaku is going to have to try and deal with this lot, but he will need the support of Rashford. And for me, that is the key position. I would play Rashford in this game. I know a lot of people are going to say, where's Anthony Martial? I would play Rashford in this game, with the one specific end game that Martial will come on with half an hour or 20 minutes to go, and if this game is tight, Martial will go for it. But how do Manchester United beat Chelsea? It's quite simple. We play the 5-3-2, we don't play Mkhitaryan or Lingard, and we play Mata at number 10. Now, do I think that that is going to happen? Do I think that this man's going to play? He might play, but I think he will probably play out on this side here. I don't want him to see that. We need to have a number 10 at Manchester United, and that's been our problem over the last few games. Now, if we play this way, Valencia is key. We need Valencia getting down the right. He tends to have a good game against Chelsea. Herrera and Matic have just got to run that midfield and get the ball into this number 10, who's looking for Rashford, and Lukaku's got to play on that back line as much as possible. This game is going to be a very, very difficult game. Very difficult indeed. Chelsea will be up for it. Conte is going to be like the Red Bull addict that he is. He's going to be up and down, running up and down, trying to get in Mourinho's face, trying to get the crowd up. And we need to, I think for the first 20 minutes, we've just sort of got to be clever. Like in the last game, we weren't clever. We've got to be clever in the first 20 minutes of this game. And then, I think, like I said, even if it's 0-0 or 1-1 with 70 minutes on the clock, our bench with Martial is stronger than their bench. And if you've got Pogba on it as well, the last thing we need to do is what happened last year, where we go into it with confidence, we're 3-0 down, and we're getting absolutely battered. We've got to stem the tide of the first 20 minutes. They're the home team. We went into the Liverpool game a bit too confident, and it didn't happen. In this game, let's feel our way into the game. But the reason we didn't beat Liverpool last couple of weeks ago was because the number 10 didn't turn up in Mkhitaryan. The number 10 has got to turn up in this game. And I don't think in these areas Lingard is strong enough physically. Mkhitaryan's playing poorly. It has to be Mata. Unless there is some total shock and this player becomes Paul Pogba. In which case, it's good night Vienna for Chelsea. Because if Pogba plays in a midfield 3, they'll get killed. I don't know. All I'm just saying is, I don't think he'll play Mata. I don't think he can trust Mkhitaryan. I don't think Lingard should play there. I'd even play Fellaini if he was fit, but I don't think he would be. But what if Pogba is back and playing in that game? It would be absolutely huge for Manchester United. And I've got a funny feeling it might happen. It might well happen. So, we can talk about all the tactics, about the width and everything like that, but Manchester United win this game by playing a number 10 who is capable of holding the ball up and feeding the players around him. Mkhitaryan has failed at it recently, and Lingard just doesn't have the physicality. And also, to be fair to Lingard, I think Lingard's a very good squad player, but Jesse Lingard let's all be honest, no matter what we think about Lingard, Jesse Lingard is not the sort of player to play number 10 for Manchester United against the champions of England. Let's be honest, he's not. We've got better players for that. It must be Mata. He's got to trust Mata. And the great thing about Mata is he's ridiculously consistent, but also he's going back to one of his old clubs and he'll want to prove a point. That is very important about this weekend. You've got Lukaku going back to an old club of his. They wanted him in the summer. He's going to get some stick. He's got to be up for it. Matic going back to the club. I think they will respect him, but he's got to go and show what it's all about. Mourinho, most of all, going back to the club that chewed him up and spat him out and abused him last season. He will want something. And I tell you what, I'm not normally the sort of fan. I don't know what you lot think this, but because it's all about this, not Adidas, Manchester. I'm looking at the screen. It's all about this to me. It's all about Manchester United. But you know what? I would like it for Jose if on Sunday at full time at 6:30 we've won this game and Mourinho can give a big two fingers to the Chelsea fans who did that to him last year. I think there would be some justice in that. And I tell you what as well, if we at 6:30 on Sunday night have 3 points out of the Chelsea game, I'd go as far as to say I think we'll win the title. I know we'll probably still be 5 points behind City because they've got Arsenal and I'm sure they'll win it. But 5 points behind City going into this international break, I would take. We've got City in December. They've got Spurs as well. I think 5 points is doable. I think anything more than that, we're gonna struggle. I think we've got to beat Chelsea at the weekend. I think we will beat Chelsea. Watford should have beaten them. Watford should have beaten them a couple of weeks ago at Stamford Bridge and they bottled it. I don't think United will do that. But I do think Chelsea will go up a level. And as I've said all week, Hazard is the key for Chelsea for me. Hazard is going to... Let me go back and I'll show you this because it's quite important. We're already live. So if we go to Hazard, now what Hazard's going to do is going to be hanging around this player, this player, this player, this player and this player. And he's going to be diving more than Tom Daley in the Olympics. He's going to be trying to get those 5 players around him booked as soon as possible. And like we saw with Herrera in the Cup game in March, sent off. The referee needs to be strong. Definitely needs to be strong. We've had some bad decisions against us over the last decade at Stamford Bridge. But the players need to be careful, especially Herrera. He's got to be careful. No silly tackles in the first 20 minutes. I know you want to stamp your authority on the game, but we can't afford red cards. And we haven't actually... The trouble with Herrera is if he did get a yellow card in the first 20 minutes and he was pumped up and Mourinho wanted to take him off, you know, McTominay played the other night, but is McTominay ready to play in a game like this? I don't think so. So Hazard, for me, is the one player I fear in the Chelsea lineup because he can cause a lot of problems. Here we go. We've got a comment here from Darian Jones who wants to apologise about something. I want to publicly apologise for bitching about Mourinho and his style of play. Honestly, the squad isn't quite there and that's not his fault. Come on, United. Well, I tell you what, I sort of predicted this last night and I well done to Darian for it. I hope a few more Manchester United fans feel it as well. This is Mourinho. He's our Manchester United manager. I think he's the right man for Manchester United and I know a lot of you do. But to be honest, even if you don't think he's the right man, he is our manager on Sunday and we are Manchester United fans and he is going into a situation that as a human being is horrible. Last season he went into it, the club that he built that chewed him up and spat him out, their best ever manager, in a cauldron like that. It was a cauldron of hate. They mocked him, they embarrassed him, the manager was getting the crowd up, was disrespectful, Conte. It was horrible for Mourinho and I don't envy him having to go back into that on Sunday, because the eyes of the world are on him, the media hate him, Chelsea want to beat him, United fans are turning against him. It's time United fans got behind him. We're Manchester United. If we win this game, I think we'll win the title. Mourinho is doing a great thing for Manchester United. I don't think the squad's good enough either. I don't think he's been totally backed. But in that cauldron of hate that he faces on Sunday, every United fan needs to be behind him. And I tell you what, I think we can do it. And I think Mourinho will be pumped up to do it. And I think the one thing that's on Mourinho, there's 2 things Mourinho needs to do. One, I think he's got to play the 3-5-2 because I don't think Chelsea can deal with it. I think 4-2-3-1, like we did at Anfield, plays into Chelsea's hands and it allows Hazard and Pedro to come onto our fullbacks, whereas if it's a 3-5-2, Valencia and Young can actually push forward and do what they do best. And the number 10 position is 100% the position that will define this game for me. If Mkhitaryan starts, unless he produces something he hasn't done for about 6 weeks, we're in trouble. If Lingard starts, I don't think he's good enough or physically strong enough to deal with that sort of opposition. It's got to be Mata or the rabbit out the bag, Pogba. And if you're joining us late, I think Pogba's going to be involved on Sunday. Cryptic message by Mourinho. He said there's still 2 more days left. I'm not going to talk about injuries. And in 2 days' time, people might be back. It can't be Carrick. It can't be Carrick. Carrick was nearly back on Tuesday. And does Carrick even make the bench if he's back? I don't think it's Carrick. It has to be talking about Pogba. Maybe Fellaini, but I think it's Pogba. Could it be Zlatan? Very much doubt so. The Pogba's the one. Out of everybody, Pogba or Fellaini would make the difference in this game. And if either of those were fit, I'd play them at number 10. Fellaini used to play at number 10 for Everton. I would love to see Fellaini back fit at the moment, playing number 10 instead of Mkhitaryan, because it would mix things up ridiculously, and I think Chelsea would struggle with it. I don't think it's Fellaini. I think it's Pogba, and I think if Pogba is back, it's absolutely massive for Manchester United. Let's have a quick look at everything else. Mourinho also said that his team deserves more credit because Spurs scored 4 goals against Liverpool, 3 against Real Madrid, none against his. Spurs fans will say, oh, we didn't have Harry Kane. I don't think Harry Kane would have made any difference against our defence. Harry Kane's playing very well this season, but again, people don't seem to realise we've got the best defence in the league. I'm not worried about Harry Kane. He didn't play against us. But England squad selected. Ashley Young in the England squad. Don't know what you think about that, everybody. Ashley Young has been fantastic for United, but to be honest, Ashley Young's in his early 30s. I don't want to see Ashley Young in an England shirt. I want Ashley Young having a rest over the international break, back for important games for us. I don't want Ashley Young, who's not been part of the England squad for years, in his early 30s, playing out his skin for United. I don't want him part of the England setup getting tired. I don't want Phil Jones there either. I don't want Phil Jones picking up injuries either. Chris Smalling, though, not part of the squad because, wait for it, Gareth Southgate has dropped Chris Smalling, who I think's had one of the best seasons he's ever had. We've needed him over the last few weeks with injuries to Jones and Bailly and Lindelof's form. I think Chris Smalling's been brilliant. I thought he was great on the US tour. Gareth Southgate, the world-renowned best centre-back England have ever produced, bollocks, has said that he's dropped Chris Smalling because he wants players who can play the ball out from the back. What? So they can give it to Doug Livermore and Jordan Henderson? I mean, anyone would think that Southgate was this brilliant centre-back who didn't cost England Euro 96 with a shit penalty in 96. I mean, since when has Gareth Southgate been Beckenbauer? It just absolutely makes me laugh. And to publicly humiliate a player like that, I just think is a disgrace from Southgate. You are well out of your depth in that England job. Sit down, stop having a pop at United again, and I think Smalling has every right to never play for England again. I thought it was absolutely disgraceful, and I think Smalling's doing really, really well at the moment. Matthew McFadden, like I said a few days ago, Mourinho is playing mind games with Pogba. He's our secret weapon for the game, and even if he's only on the bench, Chelsea will still be worried in case he comes on. I mean, a lot of people are saying Pogba should be on the bench. There's no, if Pogba's back, Pogba's back. If he's fit, he's fit. I don't necessarily think he'll be on the bench. I think he might. If he's fit, I think he'll start. Why wouldn't you start him? He's had a hamstring injury. He's been training. If the hamstring's going to go, it would have gone by now. Playing him, I would play him. It's only match fitness he's not got, and I would start him rather than not. And I think I'd like to see him in a little bit more of an advanced position with Matic and Herrera behind him, and it solves the Mkhitaryan-Lingard problem and the fact that you'll never play Mata at number 10. So, yeah, I've just got, like Live Wired B says, I think there's a great chance that Paul Pogba will start. Anthony Martial made the French squad, says Denis Alves. Well, he's playing for a clown international manager as well, Deschamps. So 2-1 is my score prediction for it. I think the only thing that worries, there's 2 things that worry me. One about Chelsea is Hazard, and if he turns up, which he will because he doesn't like Mourinho, and how many yellow cards he's going to get for our players. And the second thing, really, I want us to play a 5-3-2, but more importantly, the number 10 can't be Mkhitaryan or Lingard. I think if one of those starts, unless they turn up and play brilliantly, which they haven't been lately, I think that's a problem for us, because it's been the reason. And Paul Ince said it today, Manchester United fans need to get real about their criticism of Lukaku. I don't understand why Lukaku's getting criticised anyway. I think, he's doing everything I want him to do, especially off the ball. But the reason Lukaku's not scoring goals at the moment is because Lukaku's not getting chances. And the reason Lukaku's not getting chances is because our number 10 is very, very poor, whoever it is. And that is the most important thing about this game against Chelsea. We need a number 10 who is going to create, and then we will see the real Lukaku and the real Rashford. It really is absolutely fantastic. I cannot wait to see this game. Very, very excited about it. And you know what? I think realistically, I feel a bit like the game against Spurs last week, where there's no guarantees in this game. There are no guarantees we're going to win this game, and I'm not going to pretend like, you know, I'm not feeling like I did against Liverpool, where I was like, Liverpool are rubbish. We're rocking. We're going to go to Anfield and we're going to batter them. Maybe we were all a bit naive there. I'm not naive about this game. I wasn't naive about Spurs. All I knew is if Manchester United turn up and battle, we can win the game, and we did that against Spurs. And if we turn up against Chelsea and we battle, we can win the game, because we have got quality and we've got loads of battlers, whether it's De Gea in goal, whether it's Matic, Bailly, Lukaku. We've got battlers in our team and we can win this game. But I'm not going to make any promises. I'm not going to say, oh, we're going to win. So, you know, 2-1 is my score prediction. Chelsea have been poor recently, but like most teams, when United roll into town, they will treat it as their cup final. Ian Shaparo has made a contribution. He says, Lukaku up front, Martial left, Pogba at number 10, Rashford on the right. Why are we not doing this? I think Rodney said it last night, Ian, and I think he's spot on. I think everybody knows that Lukaku up front, Martial on the left and Rashford on the right would absolutely terrify teams. But after an hour, if for whatever reason you're not having a good game, where do you go? What's on the bench to change? Nothing. You've got nothing on the bench that can come on and change that. There's no forward, there's no wingers. We've got nothing, and that's why at the moment Rashford and Martial share the role, because they're the bench option, which you do need to have. Football is a squad game now. And also what Rodney said, which I agree with, is if you play Lukaku, Rashford and Martial, and a couple of them get injured, again, I think Mourinho's having to manage his squad at the moment, especially in relation to that front three, very, very carefully, because he didn't get Perisic, who would have given us the option to play those three if we wanted to, because Perisic could have been the bench option. And Zlatan will give us options when he comes back, but he's not back yet. So I think Mourinho is sort of skating on thin ice with United's title challenge, because we're sort of trying to stay with City, but also maintain a squad for the season as well. It's very, very difficult, but I'm very excited about it. And I can't wait. I can't wait. So what have we got ahead for you this weekend? We've got the watch along on Sunday, obviously, at 3:30 with the team news. Fan cams after the game, Flex will be there. Sunday night live at 8 o'clock, which will be more or less straight after the game. We've got stuff going up for you tomorrow. We've got a preview with one of the Chelsea fan channels with Flex outside Stamford Bridge. I think that's going up on Saturday. So loads of build up towards this game, and I think it deserves it. We've not spoken about Chelsea that much. I said at the start of the season, I don't think Conte will see the end of the season. I think Conte will get sacked. The European football is causing them a problem. I think there'll be a backlash from Roma, and they will be pumped for it. But it's a massive game for United. It's a massive game for Chelsea. 4-point separators, so they'll be thinking they can catch us. We haven't got a good record at Stamford Bridge, and ultimately, I've spoken to a lot of United fans who've said, I'll take a point right now. Fortune favours the brave. I think we've got to go for the win. I think in the grander scheme of things, we need to win to stay with City. A draw, they'll beat Arsenal 7 points. That's quite a lot. It's 3 results. 5 points, 2 results. So I think we've got to win. I wouldn't be disappointed with a draw, depending on how the game goes. I think a loss is not what we need. Not what we need at all. Breach 69, what about Jason Koundé? Yeah, Jason Koundé was meant to be on, dropped out, couldn't do it. So, yeah, unfortunately that couldn't happen. But we hopefully have got something better lined up tomorrow. So, hang in there. Thanks everybody for watching. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Get commenting below if not. Give us your thoughts on who you would play at number 10. I'm now going off to That's Football to do a Premier League preview with Xander. So type in That's Football. We'll be live in about 2 or 3 minutes time. I'll see you on there. Thanks everyone for watching. Subscribe, like, share the video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Lots of content coming up. I'll speak to you all soon.